Hi friends, it's Carolyn Zook here with Zook Stitch, and today is Wednesday, December 30th, 2020. Welcome to my channel about cross stitch. Today I'm going to be talking about my 2021 goals and plans. A lot of you have asked for a planning video for 2021, so I'm going to go over that, what I plan to do. This is going to be sort of like the whip parade because I have, I don't know if you can see, maybe you can just see, I have two baskets here full of my whips to show you what I plan, what my goals are for 2021 to finish on each of these pieces. So it'll be somewhat like a whip parade, essentially. So if you missed the whip parade or didn't want to watch it and you want to watch this instead, you'll see essentially the same thing. So first up, a couple of things that I'm going to be working from. I have this chart that I created. I created this maybe about mid-year, I would say, where I listed my projects that I'm working on. Now, this is a really good exercise for me to do this video because I realized I inadvertently left off some small projects. So I'm going to go back in and add those in. But I have the projects, my 2021 goal on each of those projects. And then for this video, so I could reference it, I put a column called challenge goals. So which are these related to any challenges that I'm going to be able to use them for or not? This was intended just to be more of a planning sheet for this actual video so that I can share with you kind of, oh, this piece is for WIPGO and whatnot. But I'll show you something else in just a minute. So this is the sheet I'm going to be referring to. I do plan on having this from year to year so that I can reference back which goals did I meet in 2021, which ones do I want to carry over into the following year, and how am I going to progress these bigger projects that I have forward to future years. And I'll talk a little more about that when I get to that. I also have next to me my handy dandy monthly planner. This is the 2021, that is hard to say, planner. I got off of Amazon. It was about $8. I used it all of 2020. So I'm excited that I've used it for a whole year and I'm looking forward to filling it up for 2021. I have a whole video on how I use this planner and how I track things and everything. I'll try to remember to link it below, but in case I forget, the thumbnail is me holding up this planner. Okay, so you can look for that if you're interested in planning. I love to plan and I love to organize. So for me, that's part of the fun of it, of stitching, is planning and organizing as well. So what I've done in here for 2021 is, so we have December. See all those X's? Those are days I didn't stitch in December, which is fine. I moved in December. If you're new here, I moved this month. So and then there's a couple notes pages between the months, and then a couple more notes pages, and then it starts with January. So what I did was I taped into the notes pages. First up, it was my 2021 WIPGO board. WIPGO is a year-long challenge where you set your own goal, and each month, it's from Jessie Marie Does Stuff. You can find her on FlossTube, and she has a Facebook group I think it's just called WIPGO 2021 or 2021 WIPGO. And each month she'll call two numbers, and whichever numbers that is, you can see I have each square numbered. And she'll call two numbers. She's already called for January. So January were actually three numbers because the center square is a free. And so if the center square is called, she'll draw two more numbers. Some folks do put a project in here, and so they'll have 25 projects instead of 24. I chose to give myself a free space this year. And my goal for each project, you set your own goal. So it's whatever you want it to be, and it can be different for every single project. My goal is just 15 hours per project that I have on here. So per box that is called 15 hours of stitching. I try to do it in that month. You can do it however you want. You can do it within that month. You can do it for the remainder of the year. I try to get it done in that month if at all possible. So you can see the free square was drawn, and square number 6, hoity-toity, was drawn. So it's hoity-toity for me. And then square 18, autumn at Hawkran Hollow. I'll be showing you those. So I will be, and I actually only have 12 projects on this WIPGO board because I have each project on here twice. So each project that's on here will get at least 30 hours during the year at some point. So hopefully that makes sense. For more information on WIPGO, check out Jessie Marie Does Stuff. Over here, I have my project and my 2021 goal. So I will have to add into that, take this out and add in the new one when I add in the projects that I forgot. And I'll be going over that in a minute. On the next page, so I covered up the calendar. You can see underneath it's calendar for year 2021. But because I'm just using this is only my cross-stitch planner. I don't use this for like work and personal stuff. So I was okay with covering it up. I run a group with my friend Robin of Bird's Eye Stitches called Magazine Monthly Challenge, Cross Stitch Challenge. And occasionally, so it's the premise of the group is that you stitch from the magazines that you have sitting on your shelf. So every month we'll give you a theme and an acrostic. And we want the theme to be from a magazine. The acrostic, you can make it work for you. So it doesn't have to be necessarily from a magazine. And then every once in a while we'll do pop-up challenge. Oh, and you set your own goal for each of those. And I'll talk about that in a minute. And once in a while we'll have a pop-up challenge. In January, we have a really big month-long pop-up challenge called Burringo. So it's take on bingo, but we're calling it Burringo because in the Northern Hemisphere where we live, it's cold in January. So for more information, you can go, so you can request, you do have to answer the question so that we know you're legitimate. But we're on Facebook under Magazine Monthly Cross Stitch Challenge, and then the Burringo is an event under there. And so we did a whole video explaining how it goes, or how it's going to work and all that. So I have my Burringo board for January in here as well, and I'll be talking about that. And so we gave prompts for each of the days, and you can see my days are not, I didn't number my board 1 through 25. I used a random random.org random number generator, and I just put the numbers in random order and then filled in the proper projects that will fit with that. Then on the next page, I have my Magazine Monthly Challenge. So we will give you these worksheets each month that you can print out if you want. You can just write it in a notebook if you want. We've seen all sorts of things. Some people will decorate these sheets, so it's really fun to see. So they'll decorate it with whatever the theme of the month is. So I have this sheet taped in every month. And so the theme for January is New Year. And you can see you set your own goal, and then our acrostic is affirm. So you try to fit in all of your acrostic pieces. And these are not all magazine starts for me. And then we get into January, and this is just where I track what project I worked on and how many minutes. I track time normally. I track time. Sometimes, very rarely, I'll track number of stitches. But so that's what I'm working from for this year. You can see, well, I guess I'll show you at the front first. So for 2020, this is my ongoing list of whips and how many minutes I worked on it each month. Things highlighted in yellow are things that are finished. I assigned a color to each whip. I don't know that I'll do that again because it's just kind of arbitrary, especially on this page. It's more helpful on the monthly calendar. But you could see, and so what I will do then is I will transfer this over. I don't have it printed, it's just an Excel sheet. But those that are still in progress, I will transfer over the number of minutes I spent in 2020 into an ongoing spreadsheet so that I know how long it took me, whatever year I end up finishing it. So for 2021, here are my whips that I already have started, that are considered whips. And again, what I consider a whip, usually when I start a project, I usually give it an evening of work, which is normally around 2 hours. So I don't necessarily go by, I'm going to put one stitch in and count it as a whip, just because that's not how I stitch. So it's really up to you what you consider a whip. For me, when I start something, I try to get an hour and a half or 2 hours in, and it's considered a whip. So that's how I do it. So I have my whips listed here, so I can track the monthly minutes. And then over here are my new starts that I plan on starting. Now, you can see it's blank because I don't know what I'm going to start and when yet. So I will be working on both of these as well as we go through each month. And it is really fun to see how the chart kind of fills up over the year. So I like that. And then this calendar will be done, and that will be such a great kind of scrapbook of 2 whole years of stitching in this compact little book. Okay, so that's what we're working from. That's what we're working with. How I set each of my goals is I really just looked at each piece and thought, what seems somewhat reasonable. I don't think I'm going to meet all my goals. I'll tell you that right off. There's a lot of goals on this page and a lot of big projects and a lot of finishes, of goals of finishing. So I don't think I'm actually going to meet all these goals. But a lot of the projects I do are big projects that have pretty clear sections. So the Hawk Run Hollows that I'm working on have blocks. And so I can say I want to complete, well, for the Hawk Run Hollows, I said 4 blocks throughout the year. That doesn't seem like much, but I have 4 Hawk Run Hollows. So you add that up, and that is more than a block a month right there, right? So if you have 4 Hawk Run Hollows and you say, I want to complete 4 blocks throughout the year, that's a total of 16 blocks to get done in the year. Which is more than 1 a month. So we'll see how it goes. And certain projects just take priority for whatever reason, and I don't have a really clearly defined way to explain how they take priority. It's just sort of what I decided that I wanted to finish Spring at Hawk Run Hollow in 2021. That just became a goal of mine. Originally, it was to finish it in time for spring next year, so by May. I've gotten behind, which is fine. These are goals. They're adjustable, but I'm still making great progress on it. So let's jump in, and I can talk a little bit. These are going to be somewhat alphabetical even, because my list here is alphabetical. So first up is Autumn at Hawk Run Hollow. This is by Carriage House Samplings. And I'll try to go through these fast. So this is what it will look like. This is on my WIPGO board, so this will get 30 hours this year. And my goal is to complete 4 blocks. So I have the top banner done. I do have this block started, but my goal is to finish blocks 1 through 4 by the end of 2021. Okay? So, where we are at, and I will tell you that for whatever reason, I'm focusing on the spring. So I have Spring at Hawk Run Hollow that I'm going to be focusing on. And I'm also doing the Quakers by Rosewood Manor. And I'll show you those in a little bit. But I've decided that Spring at Hawk Run Hollow I want done, and Spring Quakers I want done. And so those will be kind of my focus pieces as I move throughout this coming year. And so if those 2 pieces get done and nothing else gets done, that's fine, because those are kind of my focus pieces. Okay, so this is where we're at with Autumn at Hawk Run Hollow. So I have the top border done, and I do have a start on the first block. But as you can see, it's quite far from being done. It will definitely take me more than 30 hours to get 4 blocks done. So what I plan to do with these types of projects, like I said, it's on my WIPGO board, but these projects with kind of really defined goals of mine. I also participate in 24 hours of cross-stitch weekends, which is run by Jen Lee, also on Facebook. It's just 24 HOCS, which stands for 24 hours of cross-stitch. And so what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to put these projects that have these defined goals on in a tiny decision wheel, and I will just try to spin the wheel and to get a little extra time during those 24 hours of cross-stitch weeks. Does that make sense? So I can give it a little extra time and a little extra attention, and hopefully that will help push it forward. And I'm also trying to, for whatever reason, I'm not very good at stitching in the daytime, and so that's just kind of an extra goal that I would like to change this coming year, and I would like to stitch more during the day on the weekends. Okay, so next up is Autumn Quakers by Rosewood Manor. It will look like this when it's all done. Sorry about the glare. I have my ring light on here. And this is on my Whipco board twice, so this will get 30 hours at least this year. And where we are at, we are right here. Okay. And what I did, so my goal for this one is to complete sections 1 through 3, which is essentially pages 1 through 3. And I can't show you the chart, but pages, it's basically this top section is essentially what it is. Now these are not, I mean, there's a lot of stitching in each page, but they're not full coverage either. Yeah, so it's this top section. So my goal is just to finish this top section this year. And it's on Whipco, so it will get 30 hours. I will probably need to dedicate more time to it. So what I did with this, because this autumn, it's not a focus piece this year, but I would like to make progress on it. And so if I can get the first 3 pages done, then I'm fine. Okay. And so a lot of it was just looking, I just would look at this piece, look at where I'm at, and say what seems reasonable, but also a challenge for me. And this is definitely a challenge. Like I said, I don't think I'll meet all of these goals, but it gives me something, you know, I'm a goal-oriented person, so I work well with goals and I'm motivated by goals. So even if I don't necessarily complete them, this is my starting point. So the goals might change as we go through the year. Okay, next up is Balmy Spring Day, and this is what it will look like. It's one of my Hades, one of my 2 Hades. And this is on my Burringo board for the prompt largest whip. So this is my largest whip. My goal for this whole year is to get 4,000 stitches in, which is half a page. Okay. And this is where I'm at. So I barely started, essentially. I started this and then I didn't do a whole lot more, and we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Okay, next up is Bayou Cat by Owl Forest Embroidery. And oh right, I remember from the whip parade, I don't have a picture of it, what it will look like finished, but I will try to remember to insert that here for you. Here is where I'm at. And Bayou Cat is not on any challenges right now. My goal is to finish it this year, so I have a ways to go yet. But once I dedicate some time, so this might be something good that I put in a monthly rotation and say it's going to get, 5-10 hours a month until I finish it, and or maybe it will go on the 24 hours of cross stitch whip wheel that I'm going to create, which I haven't created yet because I'm not exactly sure what projects I want on there or need to be on there, and that will likely change also as the year goes on. Okay, next up is Beautiful Things by Lindy Stitches. It will look like this. It says, "Oh my darling, it's true. Beautiful things have dents and scratches too." And here is where I'm at. And my goal on this one is to finish it this year. I don't have it on any challenges. So again, I will have to figure out how I'm going to work in this project to the rotation. Next up is, this is an ornament. This is Bergen. It's a Norwegian ornament that my folks picked up for me when they went to Norway last year in 2019. My goal in this is to finish it. And again, this is not, this is on my Burringo board as my smallest whip. So I would like to finish it. This is about, an hour's worth of work. And it's not very big. It's just a tiny little ornament. So I should have no problem finishing that, or at least making good progress. What I'm doing, and I mentioned this before, but what I'm doing I think what I'm going to do for Mania this year is I am going to work on all my smalls and try to get as many. So the ornaments I started for Jolly July, I have finished some of them, but I have several left. And then I have some other smalls, and I just want to try to hammer out as many smalls and get them done as possible. So next up is Christmas at Hawkrun Hollow. And this is on my Whipco board. This is what it will look like. It's Carriage House sampling, so this is what it will look like. My goal for this, sorry about that glare. My goal for this is to get the first four blocks done. I might change that since it's December 30th. I might be playing around with some of these goals, but just to make it a little more accessible. This is how far I've gotten. Basically the border, and that's it. So not too far on that one. And to do 4, I mean, these blocks, there's a lot of stitching in them. So to say I can do one a month, yes, as long as nothing else comes up. But we all know that great things are constantly coming out, and new challenges come up and all of that. So I might adjust some of these goals down a little bit. But the Christmas at Hawkrun Hollow is on my Whipco. It will get 30 hours this year. Okay, next up we have Christmas dinner. This is when I just started in December. It will look like this. This is my oldest chart I have. This is by Stardust, I think it is. I started it for my December magazine monthly challenge. Because I fit it into the theme and the acrostic. So it got 10 hours. My goal for 2021 is just to give it 30 hours. It's not a part of any other challenges. I just like to it's a huge piece. So I just like to give it 30 hours. And this is how far I am. And, I can break up that 30 hours. I can give it one evening of stitching a month for 10 months, and that would be about 30 hours. So I might do that, just give it one evening of stitching and pull it out once a month to make progress on it. But I'd like to give it 30 hours this year, just to make progress on it. But it is not a part of any challenge. Okay. So next up, this is one I forgot to put on my list, but this is a Jolly July start. It's called City Sidewalks. Let's see if I can move. There. Is that any better? I don't know if it's any better. But City Sidewalks, it's by Glendon Place. It's from Just Cross Stitch, the ornament issue of 2018. I started this in Jolly July, and my goal on this would be to finish it. However, I'm not very far. Just have a little bit done. So that one is kind of a we'll see. The other one is a Lizzie Kate called Come with Thankful Hearts. And this one the goal would also probably be to finish. But again, let me find which way is up. This way is up. I just have a little bit done. So I will have to look at these a little bit closer and see kind of what seems reasonable for the goal. Okay. Next is Death by Cross Stitch. Okay. So it will look like this. This is a Long Dog Samplers. It will look like this when it's done. Death by Cross Stitch is on my Whipco board. Again, twice. And when I was working on it this year, I was looking at it and I was getting a feel for how long will it take me? What do I need to do? So my goal for this is to finish this top section. So I'm going to finish like right before that alphabet, across, and then go down and finish this Pegasus. Unicorn? Pegasus? Unicorn. Unicorn with wings. So that is my goal for 2021. Now, I am already here. So it will take a lot of work and dedication to get to that, but I would like to try to make that happen and see some really great progress on this one, because I really do love this one. Okay. Next up is Easter Parade by Blackbird Designs. And I am working on both the bunny and the basket. And my goal on both of these is to finish them before Easter this year, which is early April. The bunny I plan to finish in April. Or, sorry, they're sticking together here. I plan to finish in January. So this is where I'm at. So I have about a quarter, maybe a little more to go. And the bunny is on my Baringo board for stitch a flower or a tree. So the bunny is holding a flower, so I can stitch on that. It's my cross stick for a magazine monthly challenge for it's on apricot colored fabric. It's not really picking up. Kind of looks white but it is like a orangey apricot-y color fabric. And then it's also on Baringo for whip or new start with an animal, which it clearly has a bunny. So this is going to be on the Baringo board 3 times, as well as my acrostic A for apricot fabric. So those are the challenges it will fit into. And then once I finish the bunny, I'll be working on the basket, which I just have a little tiny start. So I'd like to complete both of those and have them both ready to go for Easter this year. And then that will kind of free up that slot to get those 2 done. Okay. Next up is Elegant Pumpkins, which I started this year, and I have a black and white copy. It's much prettier in color. But this is the piece I started in maybe October or September even. My goal for this year is just to get the front 2 pumpkins done. This one and this one. That's the goal. They are quite large and there's quite a bit of stitching in it. But I will show you. I am here. So I have a decent start on it. Front 2 pumpkins again would be a lot, but that's a good goal. And then what I would do is say, okay, and then by 2022 I would finish it up, and then I would have that completed piece. Okay, next up is Farewell to Anger, which is my other Hade. And I started it, I got about 35 hours in, and then we frogged it all. Nancy very kindly helped me frog it. Frogged it all out because it was very messed up. My goal on this is also 4,000 stitches, and again, I don't have it as part of any challenge. The next one is First Snow. This is a freebie by the Drawn Thread. This is what it will look like. This was a Jolly July start, so it is not a part of any challenge, and I just have the snowflake started because I ran out of the floss. I didn't have the right floss colors to carry on, but I have the snowflake started anyway. And so my goal for this year would be to finish that, if possible. See, all these little ornaments, my goal is to finish them, so those are the ones that I'm kind of like, well, I don't know if I'll get to. Okay, so next up is Halloween at Hawkrun Hollow, which will look like this when it's done. And this is on my WhipGo board, so it will get at least 30 hours. My goal is to finish the top 4 blocks. Okay, and I think I was supposed to work on it in December for WhipGo, and I didn't get to it. I have the first block almost done. So it would just be 3 more blocks, which sounds so doable, but anybody who's stitched these Hawk Run Hollows, they're essentially almost full coverage, and each block is 92 by 92. So there's a lot of stitching in each of those blocks, which is why they take so long. They aren't hard to do, it's not, they're just cross stitches. They're nothing, hard about them. It's more about tenacity. Okay, so next up is Hoity Toity. I think this one also I was supposed to work on in December for WIPCO, and I didn't get to it just because of moving everything. So Hoity Toity will look like this when it's done. And for this one, this is also on my WIPCO board twice. This is another one where, as I was working on it this year, I just looked at it and thought, okay, what seems like a reasonable goal? Reasonable. We're using that term loosely. And I decided I can get this first third section done. Because if I break it up like that and I aim to get this first section done, even if I don't get it all done, I'm making progress towards it. And that's really what goal setting is about, right? Because especially for something that's supposed to be fun and relaxing in our hobby, I'm still very goal driven. So that's what motivates me. But I'm not going to beat myself up if I don't get to it, right? Because even if I come close, I'm still making much more progress than I would have if I hadn't set that goal at all. So when I look at this piece, I see 3 distinct sections, right? I see a section up here, a section in the middle, and a section down here. And for me, that's like, I can look at that and say, okay, well, that's 3 years, right? That's a good goal for 3 years. Maybe I leave the date off just in case, right? Like leave that last little date just in case. And then when I do finish it, I'll go back to it. So that's how I look at, especially these large pieces. I just kind of stand back and look at it. Now, they're doable if this is the only piece you're working on, right? And so that's why I'm saying, I maybe need to go back and readjust some of my goals to make them a little more reasonable for me. But everybody's different, and their time to stitch is different. Where did my project go? Oh, here it is. Their time to stitch is different, and so it really just depends on what your life is like and what you're able to do. Okay, so this is where I'm at. And you can see I have a ways to go to complete that first section, but this border is just full. And I love it. I love working on this. So that is where I'm at. So I'm hoping to get the first third of that project done this year. Okay, I think that is our first basket. Now I'm going to switch over here to our second basket. So that was Hoity Toity. Next up is Kringles. This was a market release this year. This is by Little House Needleworks, and this is what it will look like. My goal for this one is just to get this roof line done for this year. And I don't have it as part of any challenge. Of course, different challenges come up throughout the year. So this is just as of right now. And that's how far I've gotten. So that's Kringles. Again, my goal is just to get that roof line done. Next up is L'Amazing. So this is a Stony Creek. This is from the summer 2020 issue. And this is what it will look like. This one, my goal is to finish it, and it is not a part of any challenges. Okay. And I have the border almost done. And while we're here, I'll show you the other one, even though it doesn't come till the end of the alphabet, but I won't tell if you don't tell. The other one is Welcome Winter Friends, which is this piece. It's also in the same magazine. My goal on this one is to finish this border around and to do this bottom section. Now I'm leaving the words off, and I'm going to add in additional trees. So it'll look a little bit different. But my goal for 2021, finish this border and do this bottom section. And then that will leave kind of the characters, if you will, for 2022. And so, this is how far I've gotten. So that border is close to being done. I mean, it's maybe halfway done or so. So that should be a reasonable goal. This is so helpful for me to do. So if you're watching, thank you. Even if you're not watching, thank you for those of you who ask for goals and planning. Because as I'm doing this and talking about it, I'm like, yeah, those hawk run hollows really is what, I don't want to say stresses me out, because this doesn't stress me out, but the goals that I really want to adjust, I think, are the hawk run hollow ones. Okay, so next up, we have Narnia by Jan Hicks. Now, I giggle because this is the piece. As several of you know, I ripped it all out. Well, I didn't rip it out. I'm starting over. I need to find the right fabric. I love, 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 love the colors and everything, but I'm starting over. So I'm going to leave this out just in case it gets cold. So this is on my Whipco board. And, my goal is to finish pages 1 through 4, which I think is essentially across the top. So it's essentially the first half or so. So that would be my goal. I just need to find the right fabric. So I'm going to leave this out so that I can focus on the fabric. And those of you who've been following me for a while, there's a couple of you that keep asking me, if not meanly in any way, but that have asked me, because you guys are telling me to test stitch it on the fabric, I think, instead of buying a whole piece of fabric and then getting upset at it again, which I will do. So I'm going to pull it out and I'm going to do that today or tomorrow. Okay, so Narnia, the goal is pages 1 through 4, and it is on Whipco. All right, we skipped a few, so we're a little bit out of order here. These are some smalls. This is Left Behind. It's a cute little Rudolph. This is a Jolly July Start. My goal is to finish it. This is one that I accidentally... Oh, no, it is on the chart, but I just skipped it. This is from the Just Cross Stitch Christmas Ornaments 2018. And I can never... Oh, yeah, he goes this way. So we got his little face coming through. So my goal will be... So this is an example of one that will come out during Mania for finishing up the smalls. Okay. Next up, this is called Looking Out. This is by Floss and Fleece from the Christmas Ornaments 2019 issue. I have just a small start on the border, and this is what it will look like. And my goal would be to finish it. There's quite a bit of stitching in there, but we have goals, right? Okay. Next up is No Notion. This was a freebie by Lindy Stitches. I don't know if it's still free, but I think it's still on her Etsy site. It says, I have no notion of loving people by halves. And here, my goal would be to finish this one because it's so tiny. Look, I have the whole borders done. Well, there's the inside border. As you can see, I have it started at the top. The outside border is done, and then it's just words. So that's an example of one that will come out for Mania. And then on the other side is another freebie called Peace to My Heart by Hands On Designs. And it says, You Bring Peace to My Heart. This is, again, another super quick, easy one that all I have done is the U. So my goal on this one would be, obviously, to finish it. Okay. Next, this is another one, another Jolly July Start. This is called Noel. It is by JBW Designs from Christmas Ornaments 2018 issue. It will look like that. Again, another very simple one. When we get closer to Mania, probably what I'll do is I'll probably take a look at the smalls and see which ones, kind of focus on the ones that I can actually, that are really close and easy, such as this one. So I have the end done already. So I have 3 letters to do. I mean, the O is a little more in depth than just a regular letter because there are color changes in it. But so what I'll probably do for Mania is take a look at my smalls and decide, okay, like City Sidewalks, that one, there's a lot of stitching left to do. I'm not very far on it, or looking out to. So I'll put those kind of at the bottom of the list, but the ones that I can just, a couple evenings and they will be done. All right, next up is Princess Eliana. It's a Mirabilia, so this is what it will look like. And I have it on this giant piece of printed Aida fabric. So this is my start. I'm actually going to end up ripping that out because I realized it's important to place her face correctly here. So I'm going to rip it out and start at her face. My goal on Princess Eliana, is to finish pages 4 to 5. And let's see where 4 to 5 are. Pages 4 to 5. Okay, so I'm going to have to adjust that goal because pages 4 to 5 is that section that I already started. So I'm going to flip it and work on her face. So I will be changing that goal a little bit. But she's on my whip go board twice, so she'll get 30 hours this year. Next up is another Mira called Royal Holiday. She'll look like that when she's done. And I started in the center here, so I'm working around this area. And Royal Holiday, she is on my whip go board, so again, she'll get 30 hours. I think this is the right way up. And so this is where I'm at. My goal on this one is to finish pages 5 through 8. So it's this kind of center section. That is kind of a lot for a Mira. I mean, this, it's just, there's a lot of color changes. So, but that would feel really, really good to get that much progress done on her. Because I haven't pulled her out very much. Okay, next up is Santa's Village. This is by Country Cottage Needleworks. So this is just one of the scenes. There's 9 scenes? No, 12? I think there's 12. I have block 1 done. And block 2 is just barely started. My goal on this one, so this is on WhipGo. My goal on this one is to finish blocks 2 through 7. So this is on WhipGo. It's also for Year of Whips, which is run by Melanie Watkins. Soulful Stitching on Facebook. Go check her out. She's awesome. So Year of Whips, she was very kind on us this year. And she said that work on a series complete, I think she said half of a series. So half would take me through block 7 since I already have block 1 done. So we will see. And that is on WhipGo. So we will see how that goes. Next up, we are getting there, guys. We're almost done. This is Scenic Farm. This is my dimensions kit. This is what it will look like. I am starting over here. I started this on my birthday, and I haven't really pulled it out since. But this is where I'm at. And my goal on this one, so this one is not on any challenges, but my goal is to finish the first 4 columns. I'm going to start working down and just start working my way across. So the first 4 columns would be my goal on this one. So this one, because it's not on WhipGo or anything, this one might go on my 24 hours of cross stitch wheel so that I can give it a good chunk of time. Now, next up is the one we all keep seeing. We keep seeing it. Spring at Hawk Hollow. Just in case you're new here, though, we will take a look at it. This is what it will look like. I have been stuck on block 4 for quite a while. So my goal is to finish this next year. This one is not on my WhipGo because I'm using this as a focus piece. So Spring at Hawk Hollow doesn't need to be on WhipGo because the focus is going to be finish 1 block each month and then go on to something else. This one is on my Burringo board with stitch with your least favorite color. So my least favorite color is yellow. And you'll see there's a yellow kite in there. And then whip or new start that is out of season. So in January, spring will be out of season because it's winter. So I'll be working on it then. Stitch with your favorite color. My favorite color is blue. So there's lots of water, or there's that other kite or that bird. So there's lots of blue to choose from. And then my acrostic for the Magazine Monthly Challenge R for Hawk Run Hollow. So this will come up. I mean, this is a way to fit it into those challenges. I suppose I should show you my progress. So that is a fun way for me to fit it into my challenges and still make progress on it. So there, I have a good start on it, definitely. But I thought I was going to be at like block 7 by now, but that's fine. It's been a wild year, especially the second half of the year. You know, it's really nice to end 2020 on some happy things. You know, I got a new job. Ooh, sorry. I got a new job, which I started in August. I sold my house in November. I moved in December. I got a car in December. So it's my first car in 20 years. So a lot of great things to end the year. Okay, so next up is Spring Quakers. And this is by Rosewood Manor. And this is what it will look like. So apparently my brain was just thought, let's focus on the spring projects, right? So Spring Quakers and Spring at Hawk Run Hollow. And then that season is kind of more or less done, right? If you saw my chart guide, you know that I have other seasonal projects, but I'm going to wait till these are closer to being finished before I start on those. So this is, oops, this is upside down. How does this go? Oh, it goes like this. Okay. That really confused me. Okay. So this is where I'm at, and my goal is to finish it. This is on my Baringo board. So as whip or new start of your choice. So that is a 5-hour block. So it will get 5 hours. My goal on this is essentially 10 hours a month till it's done. So I can combine that with the whip or new start of your choice for 5 hours. Acrostic M for Manor, Rosewood Manor. Whip or new start with words. So you can see there's words in here. So that is on the Bringo board. And then I joined Semi-Sane Stitchers, and this will be the January focus piece as well. So, but my goal is basically 10 hours a month until it's done. And if I can dedicate to that, it should be done. And as you know, I have all 4 of these seasonal ones as well. So, all right. Next up, so this is by Rovaris. This is another Jolly July start. It is called The Stockings Were Hung. And it's going to look like this. Another quick, easy one if I just dedicate the time to it. And I basically just have the mittens partially done. Again, I think I ran out of thread for that when I started it in July, so. But this one will be a Mania one that we can just hammer out fairly quickly, and that is not a part of any challenge other than Mania. Next up is Red Berry Wreath. This is by Elizabeth's Needlework Designs from Christmas Ornaments 2018, and it will look like this when it's done. Did I forget to put this one on too? No, and my goal of this one is to finish it. And again, I didn't have the right floss, so I got the berries done, and that's about it. So it doesn't really look like much. But this is not a part of any challenge. Okay. Next up, we have Summer Quakers by Rosewood Manor. And it will look like this when it is all done. And again, my goal on this one is sections 1 through 3, which again is this top section or so. And this is on my Whipco board. So it will get 30 hours. And this is where I'm at. So a ways to go yet, but that's all right. These Quakers, Rosewood Manor Quakers, I just started and only gave like a few hours each month. So, but that will be on WhipGo. Next up, again, way down there to the last few. Okay, so Trimming the Tree. This was another Jolly July start, and this is by Michelle Bendy Stitchy. It will look like this. Cute little ornament. My goal on this is to finish. It is not a part of any challenge. And this is where I've gotten. So a little more work to do on that one. And then, okay, let's see. We have White Pumpkin, which I realized I forgot to put on the list. This is a freebie from By the Bay Needle Arts. So if you go to her website and under freebies, you can see it. My color printer was not doing good color, so this does not do it justice, but that's essentially what it looks like. This is how far I've gotten. So part of the border. My goal on this would probably be to finish it. It's kind of been hanging out for a while. But basically, I think I might even have the border done. The border doesn't go all the way around. I would just have the pumpkins to do. So, you know, again, with focus, I should be able to finish that. And then the last one that I have, I forgot to bring because I am currently working on it. So hold for a minute, please, and I'll be right back. Two more that I forgot about. And actually, well, let's start with this one. So the next one, so I just started this. So this is a little kind of a sneak peek for you before my floss tube, which I'll be filming on the 1st. This is Winter Quakers by Rosewood Manor. And I just started this last night, as a matter of fact. I have to do some frogging. As you can see, this line is crooked. So I need to frog that out and figure out where I messed up. My goal on this one is the first 3 sections, again, across the top. And this is part of WhipGo. So I need to, tonight I'll be working on backing that out and figuring out where my mess up was. And I forgot to show this during the chart dive as well. So it is not started. I meant to start it on Christmas or Christmas Eve. But it is on my goals list. So this is Hearthside Christmas by Erica Michaels. And it reads, "Friends for your fireside, a wreath for your door, more pleasure at Christmas than ever before. Contentment and laughter, good times and good cheer, and peace to go with you all through the new year." And I just love that it has that little nod to the new year in it. I haven't started it yet. I meant to start it. So I meant to start Winter Quakers on December 21st, but that was the day I moved. So I started it last night, which is absolutely fine. I'm going to start this one maybe tonight. So then it will be a whip before the new year. It doesn't matter. I'm not doing no new starts, although I did think about it looking at this list. I'm like, you know, but here we go. So I completely forgot. It was in a different area because it was supposed to be started. And so I completely forgot to show you that during the chart dive. So that was Hearthside Christmas. My goal would be to finish that one. And that one would be on Baringo board as the newest whip. Okay, so that's everything. That's my projects. Those are my goals. It's a lot. Like I said, I am going to go back through and maybe kind of the Hawk Run Hollows, I'm going to kind of wind down a little bit. But this is what goal setting is, right? And the important thing to remember when you set goals, you're not tied into it. And I think that's what trips up a lot of people. You aren't tied into the goals. Nothing's going to happen if I don't meet these goals, right? And so it's all about mindset. For me, it works well to motivate me I really like checking things off and completing goals. That's what works for me. That might not work for you. So make sure you set what works for you and what motivates you. And if this is overwhelming to you, it's not going to work. And it's not going to be enjoyable and fun. And there really aren't, really the only rule around goal setting is be specific, right? And so you'll see mine are finish the front 2 pumpkins, do sections 1 to 3, do complete one page. That's how you want to be specific, because if you say make progress on my Hade, well, what does that mean, and how will you know you've achieved it, and what does progress mean for you? Because what progress means to you might mean something different to me. And so to me, finishing half a page on a Hade is great progress. For some of you full coverage fanatics out there, to steal the name of the Facebook group, you could do a page a month, no problem. And I'm trying to do half a page in a year. And for me, that's a lot of progress. So set your goals for what realistically you can do. I've set my goals. This is a lot. I know it's a lot. I do this every year, but I'm okay with it. I find it fun. I like the planning. I enjoy the planning process. I usually get, I would say, between 2 and 3 hours an evening, usually, to stitch. And I'm going to have to, one of the things I want to do is try to stitch more this year, and I'm going to have to complete these goals. But that's what motivates me. So don't take these goals as, oh my gosh, this is what you have to do. It's not at all, because we all have different responsibilities outside of stitching, and this is just what works for me. So if you have any questions, please ask them below. I love coaching people on goal setting as well. I did a lot of that in my previous job, not as part of my job. I am not trained in any way. I just would do it as because I enjoy it, and I enjoy figuring out what motivates other people. So some of my coworkers would come to me and ask me to do goal setting meetings with them, which I was happy to do. But again, I am not at all trained in any way. So if you have questions or you want me to explain anything more, please just drop a question down below, and I would love to talk with you more. So I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you have a wonderful and safe New Year's Eve, and I'm so excited about a wonderful 2021. Take care, everyone. Bye.